David Gwynn, greetings. Hello, Mary. Didn't you and I just have a conversation, Mary? Welcome, Gary. So I got both of my team leaders and city leaders. David Gwynn in Oklahoma City and Jeff McBee here. 51st state will never happen. I wouldn't be so sure about that. I think your Trudeau guy is in a heap of doo-doo. Just saying. And you have to understand that he didn't come to Mar-a-Lago, Florida the other day for no reason. So just saying. Puerto Rico, good morning. Okay, enough politics, Bob. Sorry. Virginia, welcome. Francisco, good to see you. Layla, Tina, Beverly. Hello, Anita. Oh, here's Gary's AI note taker. Gary will not be with us. Boy, prayers up for Gary and Shirley. They are still very much under the weather. They're still very much under the weather. I'm hoping to get Joe in here because I was wanting to do some updates before we actually do a little bit of training. I had one of our leaders, our actual our senior leadership team, Robert Phillips, was going to be doing some really interesting training for us, and he will, but he's out sick. Like everybody's sick around us. Well, I hope he's in better shape, Amy. I sure do. We're going to start here in about 4 minutes. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I know people can probably hear me. Yeah, I was away from my mic. Can everybody still see me? Give me a 1 if you can still see me. Okay. All right. Well, at least I'm not seeing myself right now. Muhammad Ghalib, India in the house, South Africa in the house, Canada in the house. Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome, David. Give me 1 more minute. Okay, I see one of my senior leadership team is here. Joseph Anthony. Hey, Joe. I'm going to see if I can. Can you hear me, Joe?
I can.
I can hear you. Sounds good. Okay, hang on just a second. Dr. Gary Levin, welcome. Glad to see you here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be a little bit of an impromptu event this morning. Part of it's because we're in the middle of the holidays right now. Part of it is because our project's in the middle of launching right now, and so the only thing I'm going to ask you is that if you are a guest here, I'm not going to go through that process this morning because we have a lot of our members here, obviously, and I do know that they've brought guests, and that's great. So it's not going to harm you if you hear some things about our project before we do some training. Just bear in mind that typically our training is what I call a safe free zone, where we really don't talk about our project at all until later, after we do some training, because this training platform that we're doing every Saturday at this time right now is designed to help you learn how to brand yourself, learn how to market, promote your product and or your service or your business opportunity. Okay, because we do a lot of generic things, and we do a lot of things that people typically in the industry that we're in don't do. What I mean by that, we don't do canned things. We don't do just scripted deals. We do a lot of different types of training that are more designed maybe for some advanced people, but we can break it down, and we do to give you some gold nuggets that you go away with. Because at the end of the day, anything that we can give you that you can take away from any of these trainings that we do, apply it to what you're doing in your business, right? And it works, then obviously you're going to want to come back. Okay. Well, first of all, Merry Christmas to everybody that we haven't had a chance to say Merry Christmas to. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season. As I said before, Gary is out still. Prayers up for Gary and Shirley and all those that are going through some sickness right now. Robert Phillips is one of them, one of our senior leaders. It's under the weather as well. I will tell you that I'm taking mega doses of vitamin C here at our house, and I'm on a number of supplements that have been keeping my immune system up, evidently, because unfortunately around us, we've got all kinds of neighbors around us that are not well as well. So, all right. So what we're going to do is I've got Joe here, Joseph Anthony, who again is one part of our senior leadership team. And Joe was just on a Zoom call with Des Alpes, which is our project. And that was the French Zoom call. So, Joe, the floor is yours, brother.
All right, thanks, Bob. So just to give you a sense, folks, there was 157 people on that call. So it's a smaller community, the French local community, but they are on the calls every Saturday morning, very anxious to get the updates as we all are. So the first update that Danielle gave us was in regards to the online mall and the drop shipping company. So they've decided to use one company. And the reason for that is that this company that they've chosen will be able to service all continents. Uh, and they are going to start with 200 items, and that will increase quickly. And very impressed to hear that it'll be 3 to 7 days shipping time worldwide. So regardless of where you are, doesn't sound like there's going to be a long delay to get our orders, which is great news. So that's the first thing. He didn't specifically talk about the date, but I believe that we're still looking at end of January. Could that be advanced a little bit? Yes, but I think they're still shooting for 1 month after we launch, which would be kind of the end of January. That's what they're looking at. The second update that he gave was in regards to automation. So you've probably noticed that the information that a new member fills out has changed recently. So it's now just the name and the email. And Danielle was confirming that as of right now, anybody that fills out that form will get an email within 1 minute. From that email, you'll be able to choose your password. And you also have the opportunity to confirm your sponsor to make sure you've got the right link. From there, then the next step goes to the payment invoice. So is it fully automatic or automated? No. But I'll tell you one thing, something's changed in the last day because overnight from 10 p.m. last night to 10 a.m. this morning, I had 200 new members in my downline. So it's working much quicker than it was. So I think that's really good news. One thing that Danielle did say though, and it might sound logical or too logical, but just make sure when people are signing up, tell them to make sure that they're putting in their correct email address without a typo, because Danielle and the programmer did confirm that 1 out of every 3 people that they're looking into with support tickets ends up being a typo on the email address. So sounds like it's a logical thing, but sometimes people are filling something out so quickly that it does happen that there's typos, and that creates a problem, and they have to investigate and figure it out, and then the that member is up and running and ready to go. So that's the next thing for that. They also talked about the crypto payments. So crypto payments are now available. There's been a lot of talk about USDC or the USDT, I should say, in the news, in regards to that will not be available in a lot of countries, very soon. So the company is going, and they've mentioned this before, they're going with USDC. And a lot of my members have been asking, what networks, what USDC are we going to be able to use? So there are several. There's, BSC, so Binance Smart Chain. There's MetaMask. There's Polygon, and there's actually others as well. He just mentioned those three. So it is the same, similar to USDT being, paired to the US dollar, but it is USDC. So you will have a choice of different networks. So that's something that we should start to get prepared for anyone that's planning to pay with crypto. But that's good news as well. He did talk about in regards to how that's going to work in payment. Danielle does not want to put this on a smart contract for probably a couple of different reasons. So for the time being, but it's only temporary, what's going to happen is once you pay, all you need to do is you'll take your hash ID, your transaction ID, you email it to support, and they just double check it and they make you, change your status from free to active. That's just temporary, but that's what the first steps will be, and then they will automate that as well. But he clearly did say that he didn't want to put that on a smart contract, so I guess they're looking at other ways of automating that process. But the good news is that crypto's here, so I think that's welcome news for a lot of people. The only other update that he had as well was that the $45 yearly for the 1 year access to the back office will end at the end of the year. So as of January, he said January 1st, but it'll probably be January 2nd, morning of. That will no longer be available, and that will become a $9 per month. So keep that in mind as well. The other point of interest was a lot of people are asking how many people are in the system right now, how many people have registered. Right now, as of this morning, he showed us, just his number, 6,047 members. So interesting, because if, we talked to Bob and myself and the rest of our team, that's a big chunk of that 6,000 members. So that's an interesting conversation to have in regards to, how well we've done, even though this has been a manual process up until, most recently. So those were the main updates, Bob. Yeah, that was it.
I had posed a question to you to see. So did they do a Q&A?
They did a Q&A, but when they saw people that had 3 or 4 questions, they were trying to get everybody the opportunity to ask a question or two. I was able to slip in 2. I was trying to get a third one in there, but it didn't get answered. And they were, making sure that everybody else got their questions answered, which is fair.
Well, I get that. So maybe I'll pose this to you and see if it comes up. So the biggest question, because the mall isn't in play until the mall's in play, right?
Right.
And we know, based on the compensation plan model now, the way that they've made the changes, that your whole 120 goes into the compensation plan. So you're not buying a product with any of that 120, correct?
Well, the $20 goes for your points, correct? And that's going to be for the online mall.
Right, but it's going into the compensation part of the mall, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, the way that the mirror has gone from 50 cents per person to whatever it's going to be which is quite incredible.
Yeah,
folks. Matter of fact, Gary just updated again and added another slide because he had to the PowerPoint, and I saw that he put it in our Facebook group. So you've got access to it, right, Joe?
I do.
Okay. Do you have it by chance where you can pop it in here?
Okay, hang on a sec.
If you can get that.
Yeah, I'll go take a look.
I'm going to allow some question and answers, but they got to be very specific before you all start throwing questions in here. When I say very specific, if you haven't watched the videos, then I'm not going to answer questions that the videos would answer. Okay. When I say videos, we have 2 videos that are approved. The first one, and that, so a little bit of quick training. Okay. The way that we do the videos is we send them out when we are sharing what we're trying to do with folks. Okay. That's part of our belly to belly process. And that could be, and if you're a guest here, belly to belly process, if you're not using that and you're just throwing your link around, you're doing it wrong. I can tell you that you're going to be able to come back and tell me that, yep, I got nobody joining, so it must be the company. Nope, it's not the company. It's not the company. But it is one of the reasons why you're not making any money and you only last 2 or 3 months. If you've heard this case or you've been involved in something like that, give me a 2. If you've been involved with a company where you are, and you might still be involved with one where you're not really making any money, or you're making just a little bit of money, or you're not seeing any level of success with your marketing, because that's why you're here, right? That's why you're here. Then give me a 2, because at the end of the day, the secrets of success are not secrets. They are a process that you have to learn, because you do not know how to run your business or any business until you learn how to. Okay, and so those success steps are actually steps to success, and you don't learn it overnight, and you're not going to learn it unless you are connected with people that are already more successful than you are. You still with us, Joe?
Yeah, I am, Bob. I'm just looking. Did you say it was in the Skype group?
No, well, it is in the Skype group, but it's also in our senior leadership group.
Okay, I'll go get it. I haven't seen it yet, so let me grab it now.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I am in contact with the support group. So let's talk about support. If you are having any issues with the fact that you've got your link to the people that you're supposed to get it to, and they haven't signed up yet, okay, you need to be in communication. That is your job. Your job is to be in direct communication with the people that you're getting your link to. Okay, if you're still waiting on a link, we need to know about that. If you're still waiting on a link, but you're not in communication with anybody, that's a different issue, right? Okay, so if you're not in communication with who you're supposed to be getting your link from, you got to be in communication with them. So hang on to your questions, Charlie. We'll get to them. So absolute communication. We teach this in our entire process of how we brand ourselves and market our products and services, which is the same thing that you need to be doing anyway. Is you got to communicate with people, and texting somebody is not communicating. You got to be talking to them. And I'm going to tell you a really good secret, a really big secret. This is the biggest one. What is it? What is the biggest secret to our success as a team in the last 16 weeks? Talking to people on the phone, talking to people live in Facebook, talking to people live in whatever social media platform that you're working with. Okay, because you can talk to people live in Facebook instead of just texting. But you have to choose to do it that way. Okay, it's just like I do three ways. I don't text three-way calls. I do a three-way call, just like if I was on my cell phone doing them, but I can do them in Facebook as an example. And there's a reason for all of this. And all of the folks that are doing this, and this is the only thing that's duplicatable, is the process, right? Are the ones that their teams are exploding. You can ask Craig Linfield. You can ask Joe Anthony. You can ask David Gwynn. You can ask Jeff McBee. You can ask Amy Carpenter. You can ask Angela Holmes, Barbie Zabel. I can go on and on and on, because their teams are exploding. And yes, they only started with 2 people. Okay, Jeff, it's more personal. It's got to be this is personal. Personal is the point. Okay. And we have lost that. And that started with the age of technology, where we get a phone in our hands. I went, just so you know, for the 4 months, the last 4 months that we started 4 months ago, 16 weeks ago, to this point, I just now got a brand new phone. My daughter just bought it for me for Christmas because I didn't have one. But I haven't used one in 4 months. That's my point. Now, Bob, how in the world does Bob build a team under him the size that it is to this day, 16 weeks later, without a phone? I can tell you how I did it. I did it belly to belly on Facebook. Period. That's the only place I am. I'm not on any other social media platform. I am on Facebook alone. Okay? 8 billion people in the world. 2 billion of those people, 2 billion with a B, are on Facebook alone. You have to learn how to use the technology that we have to your advantage in reaching out, and then, yes, forming a relationship and getting personal. That doesn't mean that you need to know everything about the person's family. Okay, we're not talking about those kind. We've done training before on the simple process, the simple things that you do to make the connections with. Okay. So,
Hey, Bob.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the PowerPoint slide. I do see the comp plan video, but I don't see
Well,
the PowerPoint slide.
that's it. That's in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you wanted? I thought you were
Yeah.
looking for the slide itself.
Yeah. No, no, I don't want to give the PowerPoint slides out.
Okay, so I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. And the reason I'm not giving the PowerPoint slides out is that you have to be approved, okay, to even have the PowerPoint slides. And nobody just gets approved, okay? Because when you have the PowerPoint slides, obviously that means that if you're savvy with tech, that you can go and make your own YouTube video. Well, I'm not saying that you can't, but what I'm telling you is that if you do that without getting approved, you're going to be in a lot of doo-doo. Just put it to you that way. All right. So don't be doing that. Yeah. I love Facebook. They always have that attached tag on there. So when you're looking at that link in there and you get that, you click that link, you can go in your browser. Here's a little gold nugget. Go in your browser and clear and make sure that you got a clean look at it. Okay. And then you can start from the end and you can cut out everything up to and including where it says, you can see FBCLID. You'll see it when you do it in your browser. Okay. So you can get the clean link. And then you can do it another way. Once you click on that, and now you've got the YouTube video up, there has a share link, right? So that's the link that you want to share anyway. So that is the most updated one that everybody needs to have. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Tina. Not that I need to be on camera, but thanks.
I put in the share link, Bob. I should have done that to begin with.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. But okay, so Joe, question. The fact that we all know that in order to qualify for commissions, we are going to have to buy a digital product. Did any of that come up?
No, it did not.
Okay. And what we're talking about is that, first of all, we know that there's some kind of grace period that nobody's really been talking. The last couple of Zooms that I've seen with Donnie, at least, I have not heard anything more about the grace period. Have you heard anything more about the grace period, Joe, in the French?
No, that hasn't been discussed recently.
Okay, so we're going to need clarification on that because, as you well know, with the changes in the compensation plan, there is no more 600 a month with no recruiting. Give me a 2 if you understand that there's no more $600 a month with no recruiting. I should have almost 200 twos. And if I don't, then I will tell you what I tell my wife. Go watch the video.
I'm still seeing a lot of that online. I'm sure you are as well, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Joe and myself and Craig, Robert Phillips, David Gwynn, right now, we are on a senior leadership team with Gary, and that will be looked at in the first quarter of 2025. Just so I'm going to get this out of the way, that we're looking to add to senior leadership. Now, what's the difference? Well, I can tell you the biggest difference is the fact that these guys and gals that we're looking at have at least 500 or more. That's correct. 500 or more in their downline. And we haven't even started yet. Okay, so that's part of the criteria that Gary and I had set up. The other parts of criteria are obviously integrity, character, skill sets, and do we want to be in business with each other? Okay, because they're not on the senior leadership team just because we said so. These guys and gals to come are going to be on the senior leadership team because they want to be. All right, because I will just tell you that we don't control the narrative, but we control the information to make sure that you, as members in our individual communities, get the correct information as timely as we can get it to you. But the most important thing, that is correct and confirmed. That's why you see here Joe and I going through a talk between ourselves, right? Because you have a French Zoom and you have an English Zoom that's being done by Des Alpes, and some of the information doesn't translate to the other one, and you know, it just is what it is. Okay, but everything is moving at the speed of light now, seriously, because so Joe, I don't know what your numbers were before, right before Christmas, but my numbers right before Christmas was 2325. And I just opened up my back office this morning and I noticed it's having a little bit of trouble loading. And it's not really loading properly. So again, they're in there doing stuff, and they got to be, because they've got to start opening up more of the back office, like the profile section. I talked to them about the profile section, and I got a reply this morning that is the one thing they're working on right now, is to get that ready to turn on very soon. And that's going to be a critical section in your back office, if you've had back offices of any business, as you well know. But at the end of the day, again, we're trying to make sure that we bring you correct information first and foremost, not just random information. So I talk about the noise. The noise is out there. You're going to hear it. You have to decide whether you're going to listen to it or not, and decide whether you want to make sure you get the right information. And we, again, are transparent. We're not trying to hide anything. We don't hold anything back. You know, I get a lot of people hollering at me, well, I heard this, this, and this. And I said, that's great. But until you've heard it from Gary, or until you've heard it from myself, or until you've heard it from one of our designated senior leadership team members, it's noise. That's simple.
And Bob, that's why I like to be on the French call, because I'm hearing it directly from Danielle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
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 that
as
is,
and as you know, I try not to be, too much of a hound, but when I need to reach out to him directly, I do, and he answers me right away. So it's a great resource for us to have.
yeah. And you have to understand, in the bigger scheme of things, in the corporate, because we are, look, Joe and Gary and I and Craig and David Gwynn and Robert Phillips, we live in the corporate world. Okay. Well, what does that mean? That means that corporate level people have a different mindset. They have a different way of doing things. They have a very specific way of how they look at things. And one of the things you have to be able to understand is the difference between talking to somebody that's been there, done that, versus somebody that's not been there, done that. Okay. So we've all been there, done that. All right. The majority of you all have not yet. Okay. And that's not a negative thing. It's just a thing. Okay. Is that a learned trait? Yes. Yes. Because before I was in the corporate level part of my business that I retired from, I didn't know corporate level stuff, but I got to spend 10 years, the last 10 years of my business, of 40 years of in management of businesses, in at the corporate level. Okay. And so it's a very, very different thing. And so what we're trying to explain to you is, Joe and I and Craig have the distinct blessing of being able to be connected to specific people at the corporate level of Des Alpes, including the programmer himself. And I get that opportunity to talk to him, but you don't just throw 100 questions at them and throw questions at them that you should already know. When I say you should already know, you would already know them from coming to Zooms, watching replays, and darn sure making sure you watch the new updated PowerPoints, especially before you send them out. So yes, these are learned traits. And until you've done it, you haven't done it. Okay. So again, just understand that we're trying to get all the information we can to you as we get it, so that we know that you are going to get the correct information. So Joe mentioned a couple things about the new way of doing things. Because Joe and I have our offices, the link that you have that you're sharing, I can't even go on there, and it's a good thing that I can't go on there and see what's going on. So when you have questions, the way that you need to be taking care of your questions, first and foremost, is go to your leadership first. Okay. Now I'm talking about general questions in general about the business. Chain of command. David's right. Go through your chain of command. Okay. If you don't get the answer that you need or you're wanting, then yes, you can come to Gary or I. Okay. We do have an open door policy, but I'm always going to defer you back to your top leadership if I think that I need to, based on your question. So get that out of the way. The next part is questions specifically about what's going on or not going on with you and your link to your people, or getting your link. Okay. If you're waiting on a link, then yes, you need to go again through the chain of command to find out who you're supposed to be getting your link from. And if you don't know at this point, shame on you. I'm just going to tell you straight up. If you don't know who you're supposed to give your link to at this point in our game, as I call it, or who you're supposed to get your link from and give them to, and how that's supposed to work, shame on you. I'm just going to tell you straight up. And that's on you, not on us. Okay. We have given plenty of information on how that's supposed to work. And so why do I say that? Not to chastise you, not to jump on anybody, but to impress upon you the fact that we are so very close that if you are at that stage, you have a very distinct chance of not being involved. A very distinct chance of not being involved. Okay. And that's not what we want for you. We want you to be involved. Okay. So that means that if you're still free, you haven't paid your $45. Why not? Okay. If you paid your $45 and you don't have anybody under you, why not? I can't answer those questions. Only you can. Okay. If you've got people that you're supposed to be getting your links to and you haven't got your links to them, why not? Okay. Because I can sure give you a lot more questions on what's not going on at this particular stage of your business than you can give me. Okay. If you are doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing and you're still having issues, the next step for you is in your back office, use your support portal. That's what it's for. Okay. There's two main people that run the support portal, Chad and Antonio. I haven't seen anybody else answering support questions besides those two people, and they do a tremendous job. Now, they may not get back to you in the first 24 hours, which over the Christmas holidays so far, that's happened with me. But typically, they are right back within 30 minutes to an hour with an answer. Okay. So the support portal is one way. Another way is you got that email, Joe, info, what is it? info@desalps.world or something.
Yeah, I'll drop it in.
Can you drop that one in?
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah. And this Amy is right. Amy is right. And I'm going to tell you, I have said this 100 times, if I haven't said it 1,000,000 times. If you do not know personally everybody above you that you need to know, to the top leader in your chain of command, and then below you that you have 62 people, it doesn't matter if you don't have 62 people yet, because you will, but you should have already got very personal with everybody that you've got on every level below you, up and down. I know exactly everybody in my personal matrix, at least of the 62. I know more than that, but I'm not going to try to teach you something that I am not doing. I know every single one of the 62 people personally in my matrix, in my wife's matrix, in my son's matrix, and in my daughter's matrix, period. Why? Because you have to. You have to know them personally. And why do you have to know them personally? And that's a great question that comes from people that are in other network marketing businesses that don't have any clue about this. Number one, because they think that you don't need to know anybody. Well, I'm going to tell you that that is absolutely the wrong way to run your business. Give me a 2 if you understand that. Give me a 2 if you understand that. That you have to personally know the people that are in business with you. Now, are you going to personally know people beyond your first 5 levels? Maybe, but probably not. That is going to be for the 62 people that you've got that are building their 62. Okay? Because obviously, as I said, my numbers, my personal numbers. So you heard what Joe said that was told of how many people. What was the number again, Joe?
It was, where did I put that? 6,047.
6,047. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you what is not a secret, and is definitely not a secret to the Alps. Hold your questions, folks. Out of the 6, let's just call it 6,000. Okay. I told you that on the day before Christmas, before we shut down, I had 2,325 members in my back office. And probably at that point, 80, I could guess 80% had already paid their $45. Okay. So just think about the 2325. Today, I just got up and looked in there and I have almost 3,000. And I will break 3,000 before the end of the day. Now, that's not the company. And that is not Gary. That is me. Now, I'm not trying to impress you. Oh, yeah, I am trying to impress you. But what I want to impress upon you about impressing you is the fact that I only personally sponsored 2 people. I have leadership from left to right, top to bottom, that I placed over the last 4 months that have done all the rest of the heavy lifting, like Joe, like Craig, like Amy, like David, like Jeff McBee, like Barbie Zabel. 3,000. Okay, that doesn't count Gary's side. Gary, if he were here to tell you, is somewhere between 500 and 1,000. He's probably closing in on 1,000 now that things are running. That's 4,000. Do the math, family. The company is saying they've got 6,047 members. When what they're talking about is people that have paid the $45. Gary and I have almost 4,000 of that number, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's awesome. But you have to, as awesome as that is, you have to understand why and how it happened. Every one of our leadership has done nothing different but their first 2 people. Their first 2 people. That's it. And then they took the process that we teach, and that is the duplication that works. Joe is not duplicatable. I am not duplicatable. Gary's not duplicatable. You're not duplicatable. The process is duplicatable, and all those that are using the process are the reason why we are over 50% right now and will stay over 50% and probably higher than the whole company has. And they know it. Trust me, Danielle sees everything. just like I see everything underneath me going on. Okay. And you now are seeing everything under you going on. So if you've got a back office and you've got more than two showing up in your back office and more than two that have already paid in, give me a 1. If you've got a back office and you've got more than two that have paid so far, give me a 1. We got close to 200 people in here. I'm going to show you something. Peter Bashford, still waiting on your link. Who you're supposed to be getting your link from, Peter? There you go. That tells you right there. That tells you, what does that tell you? Somebody tell me, what did that tell you? Shoba, I don't know that name, Peter. Who's your highest leader in your, and where you are with the company? I'm not familiar with that name. Okay, there we go. Joe is your highest leader. Joe is your highest leader. Thank you, Joe. But see, this is how we do it. This is why you have to know these things. This is why you have to know these things. Okay, Amy has a support ticket, wouldn't work in this case. They won't know who he's supposed to be getting his link from. And that's not something you want to ask. I mean, it's a good point. Okay, yes, use the support portal correctly. Don't be going in your back office and throwing 50 questions at a time. You do one question at a time and make sure it is a question that they need to answer and not us. Okay, that is the most important thing when you're dealing with customer support, that you have support from us. You don't go in customer support asking questions that you should have asked your leadership or your personal direct, or you get the answer information from what? From the PowerPoint. Okay. I get a lot of questions, people asking me questions that I know that tells me that they haven't watched the videos. And I'm going to tell you, just like I tell my wife, go watch the videos. And before you send a question to me, you better have gone up to the chain of command. And my chain of command is going to tell you the same thing. Go watch the videos. Why watch a video? Well, because that's what they're for. Number one. Number two, what do you get to do with a video? You get to stop it and rewind it. Stop it and rewind it until you get it. Take notes. This is part of your due diligence. This is part of the routine that you should be. It doesn't matter what business. And so if you're a guest here and you don't know what we're talking about, look, you have to learn what you've got to do to run your business. And part of running your business is learning how to do and use the tools that you've got. We only have 2. None of us are doing any paid advertising, not any of my team. And you better not be, because if you are, it hasn't been approved. And if you are, I will find out, and there will be hell to pay. Okay. I'm not joking about this kind of stuff. Okay. Matter of fact, that reminds me, the TOS, I call it terms of service. They call policies and procedures. They are in your back office. You already, especially the new format now, when you sign up on the new form, you're not just telling them, there's a hyperlink there. You're not just telling them. And Richard, I cannot help you with that. I'm sorry. Go to Robert Phillips. Connect with Robert Phillips. He's not on here today. But Robert Phillips is opposite me. Okay. So you've got to understand how to use the tools. Okay. These are all gold nuggets, folks. You know, I know we're kind of doing this randomly. We're not doing anything specific this morning. The most important thing right now is what's going on. Yeah, Richard, you can contact me. Let me, I don't need or want 100 people coming at me with questions, because again, I'm just going to send you right back to your leadership. But I'm going to put in here, and the reason I'm really putting this in here is because I want you to go and see how I have my page, if you have not done that. Okay, I want you, and I'm putting that in there. This is a training thing. Okay, so if you've never been on my Facebook profile, I want you to go there, and I want you to go through it and look at how it's set up. Okay, I set my Facebook profile up to do one most important thing, which you have to do. That you're not doing it, you will not be successful on Facebook at running a business. You have to brand yourself. You will obviously see that branding myself is working, and all you got to see is my pinned post and posts that I've had in there for a while now, because I'm not posting 50,000 times a day like a lot of people do. A lot of people post 24 hours a day. Okay, well, that means they're not using Facebook for marketing purposes, first of all. Second of all, it means that they're not going to make any money using Facebook for marketing purposes, because Facebook doesn't like you posting a lot of stuff unless you are a what? A person that is actually already making money from Facebook. Because there's two ways to make money with Facebook. One, promoting yourself, which then allows you to promote your business, product, or service. Okay, but you got to brand yourself first. Write that down. Branding yourself first is the only thing important. Okay, so why did I give you my link? I want you to see how branding looks. And it looks like somebody that's got 6,000 or 7,000 followers, because all you got to do is look at my post and you see the engagement I'm getting. You don't see just one or two likes. You don't see one or two comments. You don't see one or two shares. I got people literally sharing my pinned post. My pinned post is me. Now, why people would want to share my pinned post, I don't know. I love it. Facebook loves it. I think it's funny. Now, there are posts that I have out there that you might want to share, okay, because it's content. Okay, content then is king. Okay, and content to you may not be content to me, and it's very easily to see what I post about. But I have found out the quantity, quality, and the content that works for me. It may not work for you. So you can't copy everything that I'm doing, but you definitely want to copy the process. And we do that a lot in this. Okay, let's get back to answering any questions before we go any farther, because we're up top of the hour in the middle of the holiday, and I'm not going to keep everybody here. As far as marketing, do we have to have it approved to set up a little booth in place to promote this? If you are using the DesAlps name and or logo, that is an absolute yes. It doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing. It has to be approved by DesAlps now. And there's a process to that. Okay. You will see some people that have images, I call them static images, that have DesAlps and a logo involved in it. And that's under Craig's team that's doing it. And I can tell you that all those have been approved, because I've seen the approval from Danielle himself for it. Okay, any other questions? Let's get the questions out of the way. If you've got a question specific to what's going on right now with the sign-up process, that's what I'm talking about. Questions about the compensation plan, go watch the video. Questions about the mall, Joe's covered for now. Questions about,
can
go
I
ahead,
add
Joe.
one tidbit?
Yeah, go, Joe.
Just a little tidbit for everyone that has access to their back office. I've noticed recently that when I'm logging in by my phone, on my phone, never an issue. When I'm on my laptop, once in a while, I go to click and it doesn't do anything. There's no error message or anything. It just doesn't do anything. So I just refresh my page, and then typically I'm able to go in right away. It doesn't do it all the time, but I did notice That's sometimes on a laptop that does happen. So if you put in your login credentials and you go to click to enter, submit, and it's not doing anything, it's not because there's something wrong with your credentials. Just refresh the page and it should be fine afterwards.
Is there a new PowerPoint? Yep, it was put in here, Tim. You might have come in late, but it was put in this chat. You'd have to scroll back up. You can find it. How do you get to Robert Phillips? Well, the only way I know how to get to Robert Phillips myself is here on Facebook. We're connected. So Robert Phillips and Facebook. If you come in later, you can't see the prior messages. Okay. Hang on a second. Yeah, can somebody repost the YouTube link? There we go. Thank you, Joseph. Let's see. Yeah, Robert Phillips, you're just going to have to, I'm not putting his link in there. That's not for me to do. So you'll just have to, Richard, are you connected to me? If you are, send me a direct message. I think you and I've talked before, and I will get you Robert's link that way. I'm not putting his link in here. Asham Banik. Hi, dear friend, all everyone. I'm Asham Banik from Bangladesh. Welcome from Bangladesh. Leaving Chattagram EPZ Bonder. I have no idea what you're talking about there. Do you, Joe?
No, sir, no clue.
Okay. How can I remove someone from a link that wants to be removed? How can you remove someone from a link that wants to be removed?
If it's a
Not
free
sure.
member, they will get removed eventually
Yeah.
automatically anyway when they purge, but I'm not sure if that was the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question really is there. I've had people that have paid the $45 that have decided that they're not going to pay the 120. Doesn't matter why. So what's going to happen with that person? Well, there's a couple of things that can happen. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but I can tell you that DesAlps will not wait very long, and that position is going to go away.
Well, they won't be in the matrix, that's for sure, but they can
Right.
still be just remain as a customer only,
Yeah.
and their back office will have been paid for a year.
You might want to repeat that again, Joe, because
Yeah,
so a person. So hang on a second. We do know that when a person pays the $45, they are not in the matrix till they pay the 120. Correct?
correct.
Okay, so go ahead and say that again. So if they don't pay the 120, what happens?
So if someone has paid the 45, like all of us, you've paid your back office access for a year. That's all you've paid for so far. If someone does not move forward and does not pay the 120, they are not put in the matrix, but they are still considered a customer only. They can stay as a customer only and shop the online mall, but they are not in the matrix and until they pay the 120. That's the only way to get in the matrix.
Thank you for that, Sushanta. I can tell you only one thing. We have not seen the product line yet. Okay. That will be revealed soon enough. But I can tell you from our conversations with the admin for DesAlps, because DesAlps has admins for each division of DesAlps. So the mall is a division of DesAlps, and the mall is run by a third party contract. Okay, which is a wonderful thing for so many reasons. I will just tell you that think along the lines of Amazon 2.0. Now, obviously, Amazon's been around 30 years. Okay, so you can't think of Amazon 2.0 in terms of 30 years, but we're starting out with 200 products. There possibly a clothing line involved. Joe, we understand too that there's a possibility that there's a process that you will be able to go through if you want to introduce one or more of your own personal products that you are marketing online. Is that correct?
Yeah, Danielle has talked about that several times where, if you're a business owner or you represent a certain line of product, and if it lines up with the values and the vision of the company, that's a possibility for you to actually add your product line to our online mall.
Okay, let's see here. I am Arvid Pawar from India. Welcome, India. I know you must be part of Muhammad Ghalib's team. Uh, when we launched and when I paid, and also the date of the 51. Okay, so you got to back up. First of all, nobody is paying the 120 in, and it's not 129. Okay, so I don't know where you're getting that information, and it's not 51. Okay, there is a fee. Now, I don't know if that fee changes country to country. Joe, do you?
No, I'm not aware of that. It's 45 US plus 12% on that
Yep.
being $50.40.
Yep.
I
$50.
have not heard of that being any other amount at this point.
Okay, good. So $50.40 US. Okay, and I will tell you before you get thinking about that in the terms from your side of the coin, so to speak. But in countries like South Africa, that could be a year's wages, not counting the 120. Okay, a year's wages for some people that are still coming. I want you to understand how serious people are about what we have. We have people in countries that are willing to invest one time a year's worth of their wages to be in the opportunity to be able to get that back, right? Because you know what happens on your exchange rate, especially all of you folks that are on here from other countries. The exchange rates, you're getting paid in US dollars. Just think about that.
Can I just touch on Sharon's comment? She says, I need the person removed from the link to add someone new. So what I'm thinking she's saying is she might have a couple of free members in there. So let's say someone has one active and let's say three free members, and she's only using her link twice. If those free members are not, going to upgrade, then don't worry about them. You can sign somebody else up, have your two actives, and those free positions will get purged out of the system. I believe that's what she was asking.
Well, and there is a way. I had one of our leaders, team leaders, ask a very interesting question, and I mentioned something about it earlier. A person that paid the $45 that are saying now that they're not going to come in. They're not going to pay the 120. Okay, so I asked Scott to go straight to the support portal and pose that specific question. I've got a person that's paid the $45. They are active in my direct referral tree that they've paid, and they've decided not to pay the 120. What can happen? Well, one of the scenarios that support gave him was that they could refund him. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you that you need to go back and read your policies and procedures on how refunds are supposed to work if that is a question that you have. I'm not answering that part. Okay, so another scenario was that there could be an opportunity for that position to be taken over, and the person taking it over paying the person that they're taking over. Now, this can get crazy when you start trying to think about how this could actually work at all, but there are some potentialities to how this could play out. And customer support was very, very gracious to us about putting those scenarios out there, because typically they could say, "Hey, just like Joe said, you paid for the year." Okay, so that means that you have paid for the year, but you're just not in the matrix. So that's another thing that Scott needs to know and understand, which was not presented to him. But that's correct. Once you paid for the year, right, Joe?
That is correct.
Yep. Okay, where do we pay the 120? You will once the countdown starts. Okay, so what am I talking about a countdown? The company is going to officially have a countdown, and it may be a 7-day countdown, a 6-day, 5-day, 4-day. I'm not sure. I've heard different scenarios, but a countdown nonetheless. And during that countdown, we're going to be allowed to start paying the 120. The 120 also has a fee. All right. Before you all get sideways about this, you have to understand that we are in a business. This is e-commerce, and I don't care where you do business, you're going to have fees to pay and expenses to run your business. You will do what? You will keep your receipts. You keep your receipts because they are tax deductible. Now, I do not know the tax laws in your countries, so don't ask me questions about that. You will go to somebody that's a licensed professional and ask those questions yourself. But you will pay the 120 plus the fee from your back office. Okay, as we understand it, that in your back office, once I've been given the green light, I will get the green light first, as I call it. Okay, and I will know that. And then the back offices will go live, and you will have a button to click on, and you will make your payment, and then you will be put into the matrix. Your matrix will be revealed under you, and you will start seeing people coming in. And hold your breath. Hold your breath. I hope you're all sitting down. You will start getting paid. Did I just say that, Joe?
You
I think
did.
I just said that.
You did.
I did.
Can I touch on the fees when
Yeah,
you're?
would you touch on that, Joe?
Yeah, so Danielle talked about that this morning, and as it stands right now, yes, the 120 will have a 12% fee, so 134.40 for us right now. Anyone paying in the next little while. Keep in mind that it is a one-time out of pocket. So just keep that in mind. He also did mention that they're building a relationship with this processor now, right? And come January, there will be lots of transactions going on with this processor, and that relationship will continue to build. So he envisions that for future members, it's not gonna affect us, but for future members coming in, he absolutely expects that 12% to come down. So just food for thought.
Thank you, Joe. Tina has a question, Joe. I might let you answer this one. If I pay into the program with fiat and later want to get paid with crypto, can I switch over to crypto? I don't know.
Yeah, my understanding is that we will be able to make those changes. Right now, we know that up until recently, we were only paying with credit card, debit card, and not crypto. That is now available. As far as payments, receiving our commissions, they've always been talking about ACH for Canada, US, direct deposit to your bank account for Canada, US, and any other country that can do that, and the rest of the world would be crypto. But I do believe that you can switch that. So me in Canada, I could have ACH, and then I decide down the road that I want to get paid in crypto. I absolutely do believe that will be available to be modified and changed in our back office.
Right. And I know that Joe has already talked about the crypto, and there's supposed to be a video coming when they change this to they have different variations of what they define as automatic. Okay, so we were in manual, now we're in what I call semi-automatic. Okay, and semi-automatic means that you're still going to get an email, but that email, when you click on send to make your $45 payment, you are supposed to be getting an email within minutes. Correct, Joe?
Daniela said that unless you put in the wrong email address, which is happening
Yep.
one third of the time with support tickets for that, that you should be receiving an email within 1 minute.
Okay. Your information when you get a link and you click on join, they have simplified that. But you still want to use, I'm going to tell you, go ahead and get used to using your legal first and last name. Okay, when I say legal, I'll give you my example. I go by Bob. That is not my legal first name. And I'm going to have to disclose that. So I signed up as Robert because KYC is coming and you will go through KYC before you get access to the mall. That is going to happen most certainly. Okay. And if you don't know what KYC is, I'm not going to go into that right now. There are all kinds of YouTube videos. Go watch it on YouTube. But I will give you the bottom line of it. You will legally have to identify yourself, period. And whatever that process is currently. Okay. So do yourself a favor. Legal first and last name. Pass that word on to your people. Then make sure that you're putting in the right email. Okay. And now what email to use? I'm always going to suggest that you use Gmail. I'm just saying it because I've never had a problem. My wife had a problem with Yahoo. My daughter had a problem with MSN or something because it went straight to spam. Okay. Now, does that mean that nothing goes to spam in Gmail? Nope. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I have a email address that I've been using online for 20 years. And so it's well recognized by Gmail, especially. And so I had no problem with that. Just make sure that whatever information you're putting in when you join. Now, where am I going with that? Because the information you put in that you're using to join is going to be the same information that you're going to use with your back office link. Okay. And now evidently that's coming in an email. If you're doing this process and you're not seeing an email, the first thing you got to do is check your spam. Don't go hollering up the line until you have eliminated the potentiality that the email is there, but it's in your spam. You know, if you're kind of like me, I get 1,200 emails a day just because I use a particular email and what I'm doing. Okay. The only point to this is you could easily walk away and forget that it's supposed to be coming in a few minutes or within 30 minutes. Well, however that's working, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. And then come back and then you say, well, I didn't get it. Well, you didn't search for it either. So there's ways to search for your email in your inbox through your email provider and search in trash and in spam. Pretty easy to do if you understand how to use your email provider.
Let me add to that, Bob.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if at all possible, I would absolutely recommend Gmail or something like that, for the simple reason that we did have one of our members where she was using her own domain. I'll give you an example, Joseph at makemoneywithjoe.com, and for some reason she wasn't getting the email. And then the minute that she, did it again with I believe it was a Gmail, she got it right away. So I don't know for a fact if that was the issue, but it was kind of coincidence that the minute that she did that, she got it right away. So I'm thinking that for whatever reason, there might be a block or an issue with some less than, less popular, email addresses. So just food for thought. If you can do a Gmail, I think that's probably the best bet.
Thank you, Joe. Ashim Benek, I'm behind on messages. So, sir, how many days after becoming a paid member will I start earning here? Well, that's a good question. First of all, you shouldn't be in here without the fact that you've got at least one paid member under you. And you really should have two. Okay. So if you have one or two paid members under you, you will earn immediately. If you don't, that's a different scenario. Go watch the video. The compensation plan specifically tells you how that works. Okay. If you think you're coming in here waiting for spillover, forget about it. If we get spillover, that's a great thing, but it's just not what we teach. Okay. We teach you to start with 2, help your 2, get their 2, help your 4, get their 4, help your 8, help your 16, help your 32, and you're there. Now, how fast does that work? It works as fast as you all working together. And for those that have done that, I can't tell you how many people we've got on this call right now that already have their 62 people in the last 3 months, 4 months. Correct. A lot of folks. Okay. Why? How is that? They're only bringing 2 people each. So you can't say, well, they know 100 people. Well, maybe they do, but they only started with 2, just like I did. Let's see here. I believe she's talking about the $45. Zoom will not let me scroll back. Okay. Thank you, Beverly, for that. Contact your senior leadership. The juice is always coming, Amy. You know that, right? We are in the money. Yes. We'll kind of cover that before we leave, just so everybody knows. We kind of alluded to that. David's right. Check all the spam folder, spam promotions. And you can easily in Gmail, you just go up into your, whether in your inbox above for search, or you're in your spam for search, or you're in trash for search, and just type in DesAlps, and it will pull up because you're getting a email from DesAlps. Angelica, no one gets paid on spillover. It's not totally true, but but you're not going to get. Look, the bottom line is, if you're waiting for spillover to get paid $100 per person per level, you're absolutely right. That's not going to happen. So if you don't have anybody under you and you are you are a VIP customer. Okay. But I want you to go watch the video. The video's out there. If you don't have it, it's in here. If you're not here, obviously you're not here, but when we get these recordings out, it is your job as leaders to get them to your people. Now, the leader's job is not to make you watch the replay. That is your job. And I know the reason I'm going to tell you why we load these up on YouTube. Real simple reason, because I get to see exactly how many views they get. The first video that you have to share should have the most views of all of them, and it does. It's got over 7,000 views. That's my video. I created that. Okay. And yes, I want you to be impressed by that, because it impressed me, the fact that DesAlps approved that video. And why is that video important? Here is a training tip. Write this down. I see people that are taking the video and just telling somebody, watch this first. Why? Why do you want me to watch that first? You should know. So this is what I'm talking about. When you sit there and send a link to somebody and say, watch this first, you're not telling them why to watch it first. You need to tell them why to watch it first. The first video is the vision and the mission. I've said this a million times, ladies and gentlemen, but I still keep seeing people coming to me, showing me that they sent the videos out, and they don't tell the person why they're sending them the video. So we're going to change a little bit of the process. And I want people to test this, because I think it's going to work better for you. So you got 2 videos. I want you to send the first video first, and you're going to tell them why you're only giving them the first video. And I'm going to tell you right now, write this down. That video, again, let me repeat myself, is the why we are doing this and whom we're doing it for. What is the vision? The vision is a global community, one global community specifically, that is all of us, changing people's lives. One family a day, one day at a time. That is a vision. And it is a vision statement that corporations have, and a vision statement that DesAlps approved. And the mission statement, which is all up in the video. The mission statement gives you the exact reasons why we're doing this and for whom we're doing it for. We're doing this for people that want to quit working overtime, for people that want to retire their wives from a job, for people that want to learn how to stabilize their income streams so they have additional money to do what? To plan for their future, to be with their children, to get the opportunity to build a legacy income, generational wealth. I've told this story a million times. Here in Oklahoma, we have a country and western family that are multi-millionaires. They were not multimillionaires until they were. Garth Brooks. Some of you may not even know who I'm talking about. Trisha Yearwood. Some of you may not even know who I'm talking about. But I'm telling you this story because I know Garth Brooks. He went to Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I live in Oklahoma. Everybody that knows about Garth Brooks knows where Garth Brooks comes from. I know about Garth Brooks when he was playing in bars in Stillwater trying to go to college, and he didn't want to go to college. He wanted to be a musician, and that's all he wanted because he's a showman. He got recognized doing a show at a bar while he was in college in Stillwater, and the rest is history. Now, why do I tell you that story? Because it can apply to each and every one of you that are here right now. He had a goal. If you do not have a goal, you cannot have objectives to get to your goal. And you can't have a goal without the why. Again, the why video. Why are you doing this? You're doing this because you want to bless your family. You're doing this because you know that you're worthy and your family is worthy. And you have told your family that your job is to do everything in your power to give them the world. I tell my wife that all the time. And now I have done it. And not just for my wife, for my daughter and for my son. My son was the last to come in, but he now has his 62 paid. More than 62 paid. That was by design, not by tripping over, not by default. That's a plan. And yes, they are all in, approved by DesAlps, legally and ethically and strategically amongst my 3,000 people below me. Okay, that's another training. But my point here is that you have to have a why. And once you have your why, then you have to sit down and learn how to set up your objectives that lead to your goals. You have to write your goals down. You have to visualize them. You have to see them. You have to eat, breathe, drink, sleep every night, 7 days a week, that this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to, what are you willing to sacrifice to get to your goals? You will sacrifice. You will sacrifice time with your family, but you will sacrifice it together. And trust me when I tell you, if your wife is not supporting you, your spouse is not supporting you, your family's not supporting you, you will not get it done. Just saying. Do you have challenges? Absolutely. That's a big one. That's a big one. Because why? Because everybody knows that you're working a full-time job till you're not. And you're not working a full-time job until you can put yourself in a position. You know, I've got a team leader, Jeff McBee. He works a full-time job. Let me tell you something about this guy. And he's not the only one. He works a full-time job in the hospitality part, the restaurant part of a business. That is a huge, huge undertaking. And it is as stressful as any job can be, especially in the management side of it. I know because I have run restaurant chains for owners back in the early 80s. I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. Okay. But my point here is he works a full-time job. He also volunteers. He also is a big-time volunteer with Isaiah 38 Ministries here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He also has time that he has to spend with God because he is going to be an ordained minister. Mark my words, he will do it whether he wants to or not, because God compels me to compel him, and we'll work on that, Jeff. But that's yet to come. But my point being is He's working a full-time job. He's got a full-time side gig as a volunteer in Isaiah 830 Ministries. He's got a family. He's got God. But guess what? Somehow, some way, with time management that we teach, he found the time, and he has got a team of over 62 people in 4 months. Now, how in the world can that happen? Why did it happen? Because 4 months ago, when Jeff came back into my life, yes, we know each other, he made the decision that he does not want to work for somebody else for the rest of his life. He doesn't want his wife to have to work for somebody else to provide the income that they need right now. The reason that you work, the reason that families don't have their wives or their spouses staying at home is because you can't afford to until you can. And you will never afford to until you decide why that you need to afford to. And then once you've got that why, again, I'm pointing all this back to the video. Watch that video, the why video, before you send that out one more time, and just send it out like a video that you want somebody to watch, and then, well, watch it if you want to. Bull crap. That video is a representation of everything that we are, family. Everything that we are inside of ourselves is in that video. And once you watch that video enough and you start feeling it, you will get it inside of you, and then it doesn't matter who you talk to. But that video will be the first one that you give them, and you will not give them the second video at the same time anymore. You heard it. And for everybody that's not here, they're going to get this recording, I hope, and they're going to understand why we're going to do it this way. Because I want you to test this. I've already been testing it, and it works even better than just sending 2 videos out. Okay. The why video is exactly why you're doing this, exactly what you want your prospect to think about first. Now, why is that? Pretty simple. If you don't understand the why, they're not going to understand the why. And if they don't understand the why, does the how we're going to do it make any difference? Somebody shout it out. Does the how we're going to do this make any difference at all? Gabby, yeah, no. I should get 200 no's. No. Think about this. And this part of this is psychology. Okay? Part of this is psychology, except as long as it's legally ethical. Well, of course, if it wasn't, why are you here? That's not a jumping on you question. But if you don't know that we and our videos are legal and they're ethical, then you're in the wrong place. Just telling you. Okay, let me repeat myself again because it's too important. It's too important. Do not send 2 videos out anymore. I don't want you doing it this way. I want everybody to test this. You send the video out and you tell them why you're sending the video. You don't just send a video out and say, here, watch this. No, no, ma'am, no, sir. You send the video out and you have the conversation with them, and quit texting. Quit freaking just texting. That makes me so freaking mad right now that you can't pick up the phone or you can't get on Facebook and do a belly to belly with somebody, because you can. And it doesn't matter if you don't know them well enough yet. You can still do it. You just don't want to. Okay, but I'm telling you, everybody that follows my training specific to the letter are absolutely exploding. Ask Marianne West. Ask Gabby. Ask Amy. Ask Mary. I could go on and on and on. You've got to understand that they understand why you are so excited about what you have in your hands. And you're excited because you finally get to do what? You get to help yourself and your family first, that you learn what you're doing to turn around and help the world next. And if they don't get the why we're doing this, and they don't get the fact that we are doing what, who we're helping, the how does not matter. Yeah, Brandy, obviously that goes without saying. Okay, come on. Obviously, those kind of things go without saying. And I certainly appreciate that we are working. Look at this. Brandy is absolutely right. We are working with that community. We are working with that community. So there are technologies that have to be used. And Brandy is exactly correct. They are people that need to be helped, because who's trying to help them? You want to know who the easiest person there is to have a conversation with, besides somebody to bring them to training? It's somebody that has never done network marketing or MLMs. Give me a 3 if you understand why I'm telling you that. Give me a 3 if you understand the easiest person that you don't have to convince, that you don't have to chase, is a person that's never done the business before. And I can prove it to you, because we've got 20 of them right here in Glenpool, Oklahoma. Yes, the fact that they haven't been burned, all right, but the fact that they've been burned is another reason why you're talking to people. But you have to understand that. See, here's what you're not learning to do either. In your simple conversation, you let them tell you about themselves, and you shut up. Your job is not to chase. Your job is not to convince. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to communicate your love that you want to show them that you have for them first. Isn't that right, Gabby? Amy knows. You're not going to untrain anybody, Gab. I get that. I get that, but that's not your job either. Untraining people is not your job. It's not nobody's job. Because here's the thing, and Gabby is one of my best students that I've ever had. And I've had many. Gabby is one of my best students I've ever had. And I've had a lot of students. And Gabby has gone through, let me just say, Gabby's challenges are probably, if I were telling you from between 1 to 10, from easy to hard, I would say 15. Okay. There's no luck to it, John Gabriel. There's no luck to it. And at the end of the day, your opinion doesn't mean anything. Does it? Your opinion doesn't mean anything. You have got to decide on how you're going to communicate with somebody to love on them. You're not going to try to convince them. And if they don't want to hear what you got to say, you have to let them go. Thank you, Asha Lamar. You have to let them go. Okay? Look, I know what's going on with you. I've talked to several people before this call, and they're already breaking the protocol of the process because they're so excited and they're getting a negative response. You're going to get negative responses. If it was that easy, we'd have 10,000 people under us right now. Come on, gang. If it was that easy, we'd have 10,000 people under them, and you'd have 500 under you. If it was that easy, there is a learning process. You have to, it's just kind of like a baby, right? It's the same kind of process, ladies and gentlemen. You got to learn how to crawl first. It's like a baby. And then a baby eventually starts trying to stand up. Okay? There's some of you that are farther along than others. Jeff McBee is a prime example. When I first started working with Jeff 4 months ago, Jeff didn't know nothing about nothing because nobody ever taught him anything. Okay? You have the opportunity to connect with people first and let them know it's okay. You want to hear their story. You got to hear their story. Why? Because if you don't listen to their story and sympathize with that story and then confirm that you've had the same thing happen to you, you will never have a connection. Give me a 2 if that makes sense what I just said. That your connecting process is learning about their problems. You have to learn how to be a problem solver, not a chaser or convincer of people. That is not how you build your brand. That is not how you build any business. Once you do this, and once you get away from the dollars, I'm not even talking, I have not talked about a dollar in this conversation yet. That doesn't matter. Look, the dollars don't matter. The math doesn't matter. The how doesn't matter unless you connect with the why. Some people watch the video, and when they're gone on YouTube, they go join with someone else and they'll reply and say, yeah, they joined another business. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Look, we are not for everybody, and you are not for everybody. And yes, look, you got to forget about those things that happen like that, Angelica. There's 2 billion people on Facebook. 2 billion. It's who's next. You don't have the time. Your time is to be built branding yourself first, and then your time is to do what? Is to start making connections. Then part of your time is to go through those connections as they're coming into your notifications and seeing if that's a person that you may want to do business with. Your job is not to just randomly pick somebody and regurgitate your shit, sorry, folks, out of your mouth and think that that's going to stick. God bless America, David. God bless the next 4 years of all of our lives here in the United States. Yeah, who's next needs to be on everybody's vision board. You just got to understand, look, it is a numbers game if you want to break it down to that. Numbers. Ernest is exactly right. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Okay. That is an attitude about the industry in itself from big builders that have learned how to do this. All right. And we're not looking for big builders. I'm just going to tell you, I've run some of the biggest off. I had 2 of the biggest builders that were in on passive come to me personally. Yep, they came to me, and their claims of thousands of people waiting for a link. Just let me make sure that I gave them a good position, number one, and let them build it how they wanted to. Well, what do you think my answer was to that, Jeff McBee? What do you think my answer was to those 2 big leaders? And I know who they are, and I know the kind of downlines they had in on passive. It was a hell no. I said, see ya. And somebody said to me, what the hell are you doing, Bob? I know that guy too. He had 10,000 people under him. See ya. Don't need you. Don't want you. You're not gonna spread your rat poison in my community. No, sir. No, ma'am. Bye bye. And they're not the only ones. Can I make you do it my way? Nope. Ain't for me to make you. Yeah, Catherine, on passive was a huge loss. I tried to tell people for years. Did I give on passive? Did I give Ash Mafara, that freaking idiot? I'm going to tell you something right now. If I could grab a hold of Ash Mafara for each and every one of you that I know personally that has been burnt for thousands of dollars from multiple positions, I would strangle that son of a you know what right now. And people that know me know that I'm capable. And yes, I've said it recording. I don't give a rat's ass because he knows me and he's blocked me. And he knows exactly, if I could get a hold of him, he knows exactly what I would do to him.
Hey, anyway. Bob, I got to run.
Yep. But I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. But you need to be here for those on passive people, because you're talking about people who have been scorched 6 years. 6 years. Yeah. Okay, sir. Goodbye. Thank you very much. That's fine. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me on anything, but I'm going to tell you, I've protected more of my people from people like that, and he's not the only one. And yep, thanks, Joe. We do greatly appreciate you. And I get very passionate about my people because I protect my family just like I protect you all. That's my job. You know, some people don't like it. I get it. I can't tell you. I'm not going to ever be any different. Just so you know. Okay. The Ashmafars of the world are still out there. It's our job to help people get away from those kind of people. That's why you're here. You know, I don't need the money. The money is nothing but a tool, ladies and gentlemen. The money is nothing but a tool. The tool that my wife and I and family are going to use to take ourselves to the next level of helping people that cannot help themselves until they can. And we teach them to do that too. That's my goal and objective for my family and I with this project. Okay. Does anybody else got any other questions? That we're going on for 2 hours and I really didn't mean to keep this going. And again, I apologize if I offended anybody with my language, if I offended anybody with Ashbafara. I do not take back anything I said about that gentleman. And that's no what I'm saying. Look, what I'm saying about that gentleman is the truth, because there's people on this call right now that's hung in there for years. Anyway, enough about Ash Mufara. But there are a lot of those type of people out there. Okay. There's a lot of those type of people out there. It is my job to warn you about them. It is my job to protect you all from them. And then it's in turn, it is your job to protect your people now. All of you leaders know that about me, know that about you, to protect your people. Okay. I'm not pointing anybody out that lost money with any project in particular. Amy and I lost money with a guy that we were very close friends with 7 years. I'm very sad about that. I even tried to get him into the business, but maybe he's just embarrassed with what happened, you know. But he's got a family too, you know, and I get some of the things that happen, okay, but people arbitrarily using their power and their wealth to burn people to the tune of $90 million. I can't have that. Neither can you. I can't have it. So look, I love each and every one of you. So does God. And all that we want for each and every one of you is the success that you deserve now. Each and every one of you here have a why, or you're not here. You got the video, use the video first so that your prospect can understand the why. Once your prospects understand the why, then they're ready for the how. Then they're going to have questions. Then you get them on a 3-way call with your leader, with either your upline or your upline leadership, or you get them with Gary or me. But you go through the chain of command first. And everybody knows that. So, yeah, I asked the same question, Harpel Singh. Yeah, they're working on it. Antonio's son, Chad. So those of you that are hearing or seeing support back from Chad and Antonio, they are father and son. Very, very nice people. We're very extremely blessed to have them in our support and programming. Okay, that we're close to them. So yes, you can go right now. You can, Harpel, you could go and do a support ticket. I asked Chad to change my phone number. So he's doing that. Okay, those are a couple of things that you can do to help yourself for now. But the profile section will be open, and it has to be open sooner than later, because there's other parts of the back office that are not open yet that will be once we pay the 120. Obviously, 2FA, two-factor authorization, will come into play as well. Those of you that have just created a simple password to get in your back office, while there's not any money back there, while you don't have any crypto wallets back there, that's fine. Do not leave that way. Get that changed for yourself before, and write it down so you don't have to memorize it. And never give it out to anybody, and never show your back office to anyone, especially after you got money coming in. First of all, it's illegal. It's called enticement, and you can get terminated for it. Second of all, you are vulnerable. At that moment, I don't care how good you think your computer security is, you are absolutely vulnerable. But the fact that 2FA comes into play means that once you use your password, then you will get an alert from your phone, which will have a code that you've got to push in. So the only way that you get hacked is if somebody's got your password and they hacked your phone too. Does that happen? Absolutely. Be vigilant, be on guard, be wary, be suspicious of everything that you come across and everyone until you don't have to be, especially in the online social platforms. Ask Amy Carpenter, she'll tell you. She knows that I watch out for those kind of people, for her specifically, and for Gabby and for anybody else. It doesn't matter. Okay, anybody else got a question about anything that we've talked about with training today? Yep, suggested a domain. I own oneglobalcommunityforall.com. So you can't have that one. That's mine. One Global Community is out there if you want to pay $1,500 for it. Okay, but yes, you want a domain for your link for the future. Okay, and speaking of that, advertising. People are advertising their link in paid advertising like Hercules. Don't do it. They've already told people in the Telegram group, don't be doing it. You are putting yourself in jeopardy of being terminated because those ads are not approved by anybody. Okay, and there's ads going out there right now. Somebody's running an ad right now. I've got it in my folder that suggests that one person paid gets you $5,300 a month. That's absolutely wrong. So, not only are they advertising and paid advertising, which is not approved, they're advertising their affiliate link alone, which you don't want to ever do, and then they're advertising a page. Now, here's a quick gold nugget. You can advertise that page if you want to, if you got approval to do it. Okay, so get approval first, which means you're advertising your affiliate link or a affiliate link. You better have approval first. Okay, now what is that going to do for you? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's going to do for you. Probably nothing. Now, let's just say that it does get somebody to join free. What do they know? Somebody tell me, based on the page that we have right now, what do they know about DesAlps? What videos did they get to see? What communication are you having with them by advertising that page? Anybody want to answer that question? John Smith just said nothing. That's absolutely correct. And I'm going to tell you something else. Let's just say that somebody does fill that out. Okay, that is not a lead capture page, meaning that's not going to be your email. You're never going to see that person's email. Why would you do it? Because you think you're going to go in your back office and support's going to give you an email to somebody that signed up under you? Maybe. But they're not going to answer a lot of those kind of questions. And that's exactly one of the reasons why they don't put the emails in the back office. You probably will never see that. It's compliance stuff. Okay. It's just the way it is. Now, you're going to have the opportunity to build a funnel that could potentially lead your person through your funnel, that you get their email and information first. Okay, because yes, when you're branding yourself, you want to build your own list. I'm not building anybody else's list if I'm going to do it, but I don't do it that way. And everybody I teach doesn't do it that way. That doesn't mean it can't be done, but you have to get these things approved. Okay. Anybody got any other questions before we sign off here? Again, if I have offended anyone in any way, shape, or form, I don't care who you are or where you are in the world, with anything that I've said today, especially about On Passive or Ash Mufara, I apologize. But that's just me, and I can't help it, because my agenda is to protect you. That's it. Thanks, James Gloucester. I want to see everybody bring 5 people. If everybody brings 5 people next Saturday, just 5 people. The easiest, before we end this, the easiest reach everybody has on this call right now is to get somebody to a free training, because nobody's doing training like we do. Nobody. And if they are, I want you to direct me to them, because I want to go see what they're doing. And I've put that challenge out there for 4 months, and I have yet to see that. Okay. Is that impressive? Absolutely. I intend to be impressive. And I intend for you to have the opportunity for you to be impressive, because I want you to brand yourself. That's why I gave you my Facebook link. I post on my wall about the training every week, and I make some changes to it by Monday of the beginning of the next week. And I make changes to it so people can see what kind of training that they could possibly look at. And that attracts people to my profile. I want you to do that, but don't hit the copy button on my post. You go in there and open it up so you can read it all and capture it, take it to your profile, post it, and pin it at some point in the week. So your pin profile should be about you. If you go look at mine, you'll see it's about me and my family and how I grew up, and my everything that was important to me. That's what people want to see. That's what attracts people to you, at least in Facebook. Okay, that is a natural attraction. The marketing side of it is that you go out and reach out to specific demographics of people that we have been teaching you to do. Not posting in groups, reaching out, connecting, deciding whether you want to work with them or not. And then they come to you, you connect with them, you learn a little bit about them. And then the easiest reach is, tell me about your business. Write that down. Tell me about your business. It doesn't matter, John Gabriel. Just go on in the search bar of Facebook. Everybody's got one. Just type in there, first of all, groups. On your left side, you got groups. You can click on that. And you want to join advertising groups, as an example. You want to join groups like On Passive groups, other kinds of company names groups, and you don't post anything in those groups. You go in there and you go to the members part, and most of them will allow you to see their members. I don't know why, because that's their list. They shouldn't want you to see that, but most of them do, because they don't know what they're doing either. I manage like 10 or 12 groups of my own. But anyway, my point is that you go in and you just start friending, and you can only do so many an hour before Facebook starts sending you little messages like nope. But anyway, you can do 10 to 20 an hour, and then take a break, and then come back, go to another Facebook group, 10 to 20 an hour. And when you are connecting with people, look for connections, and it will tell you how many members that they have. You want to look for the ones that say are aligned with you, like you have friends in common. Okay, now when you go scrolling through that, don't pick the ones that got 300 people in common with you. You want the ones that have 50 or less, 20 or less specifically. Look for those, kick friend. When you start doing this, then you will start building that up in your notifications. That is you list building for yourself. Again, go now. The ones that come to friend you, don't just friend them because they're asking you to be your friend. Go look at them and see if that's somebody potentially do business with. You'll know right away whether you're going to or not. Those that you do, you connect with, then you ask them, how's that business going for you? Because you're wanting to know from them, and they will tell you. The easiest reach you will ever have is reaching out to somebody to ask them about their business, because nobody does that. It's called reverse marketing, and that's what you're learning to do. Okay? It's reverse marketing. You want them to tell you about their business, not because you're going to join their business, because you want them to talk to you about themselves. And you're going to find out whether they're getting any help or not. And 50% of the time or better, they're going to tell you nope. And then there's the door opens. Hey, come to free training with me. And you do that enough times, you've got people will come. We know this, it happens every week. And you do that enough times, and they will want the whole enchilada. We know because it happens every week. And the whole enchilada is that they join you in Desouts to get the whole enchilada. Now, if that, give me a 5 if that is a simple way to reach out, to connect with people, to get them to talk to you first. You're not selling, you haven't talked to them about dollars, you ain't talked to them about nothing but that you want to love on them, you want to hear from them, you want to hear their issues, their problems, because nobody else is doing that. That is the connection that you're trying to make, and you don't do it by texting. You do it by, hey, give me about 5 minutes of your time. I want to hear about your business. Get them on a video with you in Facebook. When you do it this way, they will come. They will see what we're doing. They will take some of what we're doing. They will go back and they will use it, and they'll come back and say, hey, that worked. Nobody showed me none of like this. I've tried stuff that doesn't work. Oh, we see this week in and week out that people are coming back because the stuff that they're learning from us works. So obviously, what are they going to do? They're going to come back, and then what are they going to do? They're connected to people too. You see what you're doing? You are by default now starting to build your own team of people that you stay connected to them, not by texting, by doing what we're doing right here. Give me a 1 if any of this is making sense and you've got value today. Give me a 1 if any of this is making sense and you got value today. We're wrapping this up. Okay. I love each and every one of you. We almost had 200 people in here. We still got 50% left. And I know we run long, but I'm compelled to do what I do. I do it. And then, the recording will come out within the next 24 hours. And all I can pray is that when you get the recording, that you pass it out to all your people and they watch it. And, nobody's going to sit down probably and watch that 2-hour recording all at one time, because they just don't want to be serious enough about their business. I'm just going to tell you, because they don't. They don't. But that's okay, because who was it? Bill Britt, I think. No, he was a big Amway guy. He's got a quote out there that he went to 1,200 people when he first started his Amway business. He got 900 no's. 1,200 people. He got 900 no's. Oh, by the way, I apologize if I'm speaking too fast, but also if you scroll down, too late now, but for future, it says closed captions. You click on that, and then there's a pop-up box. You can put it into your language, and then you get text. Sorry, I apologize. I should have mentioned that. My fault. That's my bad. But Joram, I will speak slower for you. But at the end of the day, only specific types of processes that show some kind of result is going to be something that you will use, that you will then scale. Scaling means that, okay, I've tried this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. These things are working for me. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to scale up the process, meaning I'm going to attract more people to me. Okay, I'm going to pick on Jeff McBee again. Why? Because he has changed his whole profile to that of Facebook Pro, which is free. He has got a pinned post, which is all about his family and him. And if you go start looking at it, you'll see that he doesn't have 6,000 followers, but you will start seeing that he has got more engagement. He has got more people coming to him, and that works. Baby steps, small steps of success lead to bigger steps of success, because at the end of the day, Gary and I have been doing this for 50 years. So yeah, we do have reach. We are successful, and we should be, right? We've been doing this for almost 50 years, online and offline. So, you know, why are we retired when we wanted to retire? Why did we get to retire our wives before we retired? Why did we get to retire with our wives when we wanted to and completely debt free? It's correct. And I teach that. It is a step-by-step process, getting completely debt free. Anybody want to learn how to get completely debt free? Give me a 2. Yeah, David. I don't remember the whole story, but yeah, Britt went after 1,200, got 900 no's, and he got 30 something people, I think it was, that got into the business with him. And a small percentage, it's the 80-20 rule, but a small percentage of those, because of him sticking with them and them sticking with him, made him a multi-millionaire, which he still is to this day. Everyone wants to be debt free from here. Well, I would hope so, Mr. Singh. Okay. But you don't see, if you go to my Facebook profile and you look at my bio, it says learn how to become debt free in 3 to 5 years. People don't want to give 3 to 5 years. Are you kidding me? I gave 10 years learning how to do it. 11 made him a millionaire. There you go. There's the number. And that's a true story. Why do I know that? Because my parents knew him personally. My parents were diamond directs in Amway between 1965 and 1976. Joe's not here with us. He's had to leave. At the end of the month is what we're being told, starting the first week of January. It's in my DNA. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. And so our son is a self-taught day trader. He just made $17,000 this month, $6,000 week, $1,500 day. My daughter, who's never sold a thing in her life, I guess it's in her DNA. For 24 months now, she's been the #1 all-state agent, not only in the state of Oklahoma, but in a 6-state region. And she'll gross $200,000 at the end of this year. 31 years old. Is not married, does not have any children. Why? Because she had goals and objectives, just like her older sister, who did the same thing. Yes. So, is it in the DNA? Absolutely, it's in the DNA. Thank you, Muhammad. And I know you're a great leader too. So, great leaders do what? Great leaders lead from the front. They are totally transparent, honest to the nth degree, and they lead by example every day. So most of you that do know me know that I've been doing this 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 16 weeks with 1 day off. I took Christmas. Well, that's not true. My wife will tell you I only took half a day off at Christmas. Correct. And I've been blessed to be very, very healthy, even though I am a heart patient, and I call myself Iron Man 4 because I have equipment that runs my heart. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, look, I've got a lot of great leadership. Gary's got a lot of great leadership. You've got access, those of you that are not leaders yet. You know, there's a process that you go through. The first thing that makes you a leader, even by default, is you have at least 3 full levels of paid members. Then you are a team leader with me. Then you go to a group leader when you have 62. Then you go to a global leader for those that have more. And we're going to have to come up with something else, because I've got global leaders that have got 500 and more. And we will. We will for sure. But God bless each and every one of you. because God does love each and every one of you. And speaking of, here's a gold nugget. Brothers and sisters in Christ are uniting more so than ever before in the history of Jesus. And I'm saying it, and I'm not asking for forgiveness for it, and I'm not asking anybody to, I'm not trying to preach to you my religion. Your religion is not my religion. I don't preach that way, but I will testify to you that I know what's going on with my God, and what's going on with this company, and what's going on with all the brothers and sisters in Christ that we've created now, that have come to us in right now 40 countries. Our team, the company, is approved to do business in 160 countries. My team, Gary's team, we're in over 40, maybe 50 countries now. We haven't even got started yet. Okay. But I'm just telling you, brothers and sisters in Christ. Why? Because true brothers and sisters in Christ are not just believers, right? They are also believers in doing what? Give it to me. Somebody give me what a true Christian. I don't care what part of Christianity you're involved with, or who your God is. That's not important. What's important is, what is the purpose? What is your purpose? If you're a true believer, what is your purpose to humanity? It's our purpose. Your prayer warriors, for sure. You're building a kingdom, absolutely. Fellowship, love, everything, every one of those adjectives, every one of those descriptions are part of who we are and part of our vision and our mission statement, because that's what we're doing. We are going to lift up the downtrodden. We're going to lift them up and help them up, not hand out anything. We are not hander outers of anything. We are lifter uppers of everyone. Let's lift each other up first at our families, stabilize our incomes, and start showing people how to do the same thing for their families. And then what do we do then? We retire the spouse. Then we get to learn how to retire ourselves over a period of time. And while doing that, we will become debt free. Then you turn around and teach this. How much better is the world going to be if we've got tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of us doing the same thing around the world? SP Singh, Ashok Lamar, how much better is the world going to be? You think? We have the opportunity. We all have the opportunity, man. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. We will be back to normal business next week a little bit. We still, because obviously here in the United States, we've got New Year's Eve and New Year's Day involved next week as well, Wednesday and Thursday. So we will plan around that. I'm sure that we'll have our meeting Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. For all you guests, I apologize for this being totally disalps, but I hope you got some training. Hope you got some gold nuggets. I hope that you could take some of the gold nuggets that you might have heard today with value and apply it, because learning how to do what needs to be done but not applying it does not make you successful. Okay. All right. Thank you. God bless you, each and every one of you, because God loves you and so do I. And I will see each and every one of you at the top soon enough.